What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. Ooh, ow, ow. I have like these really cute earrings on and they match my bracelet and like I love them, but like they're making it really hard to wear these headphones. Let me just try to put them on gently, maybe over the sides there. Okay, this looks a little goofy, but it's a lot more comfortable for me. How's it going, guys? We are getting pretty deep into the Christmas season. Merry Christmas. And so I just thought I would gift you all with another reaction to The Odd Ones Out. This is the Netflix series that was also scary for adult James, so I want to see what it is. I personally don't like to be scared. As I told y'all in a previous video, I don't really watch scary movies. I just look up the synopses online, but I have been making an exception lately for the Into the Dark series on Hulu. And I think that's just because for me those are more like thrillers than like truly like horror movies. And I still like hid my face through like most of the movies, so maybe not that big of an exception. Anti-who's-in, let's go ahead and get started and see what The Odd Ones Out was so scared of. In 3, 2, 1, play.
And publish. A 23-minute long movie review about an 80s puppet movie sure is different than the content I usually post, and even though it was a lot of work, it was fun to try something new, and I think the video turned out pretty good. Am I right, Chamberlain Funko Pop? Well, it's a good thing I'll
have to watch that. I'll have to watch his review of The Dark Crystal. I need to see that.
Ever have to worry about this franchise ever again. Are you sure about that? When I made a review about a cult classic puppet movie that came out 35 years ago, the last thing I was expecting was that said franchise would get a reboot announced 2 weeks after I posted. And every single day since then, people have been tweeting at me saying, "Hey James, did you know Netflix is making a Dark Crystal series?" Yes, I know. Do you know who you're talking to? If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, then I recommend you watch my video, The Movie That Was Too Scary for Baby James. In that video, I reviewed a scary kids movie called The Dark Crystal. The movie was more or less a passion project of Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets, and so this movie was done entirely with puppets. It came out before I was born, but I still somehow watched it and got scarred for life. In my review, I said some good things about the movie, like I thought it was a very creative and artistic film, but I also said some negative things about it too. As YouTubers, sometimes we forget that our videos are public and can be viewed by anyone. And when we talk about companies, we can forget that real people are attached to those properties who have poured hundreds of hours into these projects, and there's a chance they'll see our videos. And unbeknownst to me, Lisa Henson, current CEO of the Henson Company, saw my video. And for—
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit. I completely agree with this point that sometimes we forget, like there's like literally anybody could watch our videos at any time, but oh shit, like
for some reason, I never considered that was ever going to happen. If I had known that Lisa frickin' Henson was going to watch my video, I probably would have worded a few things differently. I don't think she was too mad at my video though, because she invited me to tour the Henson office, and I got to see a real-life Skeksis puppet, which resurfaced an unhealthy amount of repressed memories, and I got to meet some of the puppeteers, which was a whole lot of fun. Also, before Age of Resistance was released, I got contacted by Netflix, and they invited me and some other Dark Crystal fans to an early screening of the first 2 episodes, and I signed a non-disclosure agreement so I couldn't spoil anything. I don't remember when that NDA said I was allowed to talk about it again, but hopefully I'm in the clear. When I was in the early screening, I just remember thinking about how cool that these characters in this world were back on the big screen. Netflix has a pretty big screen, and the puppetry and cinematography have only gotten better. And the fact that 95% of everything was done with practical effects and puppets, it's beautiful. There's not a single human in this series, except in episode 10 when this puppeteer's head can be seen for a couple frames. I just checked and they actually took it out, so
Oops.
I still saw it. So much time and care and hard work was put into this series that there was a documentary made about how hard it was to make this series. If any of you are wondering, no, Rayunip does not make an appearance in Age of Resistance, nor is there a naked baby Jen puppet. Also, if you're worried that the show wasn't going to be as dark and scary as the original, don't worry, it's darker and scarier than the original.
Believe
the
it.
Netflix
I
family
believe
Twitter
it.
account was nice enough to timestamp every scary part in the series, and as you can see, stuff goes down in episode 10.
Okay.
Surprisingly though, they didn't blacklist the scene of the SkittenSays peeing out of 3 different pee streams in episode 6 at 28 minutes and 41 seconds. Really makes you think. So artistically, this series is beautiful, and it needs to do well because it's left open for a season 2, and I want a season 2 to get greenlit. I'm not going to do a plot summary of the whole thing like I did in the first review because I don't want this video to be an hour long, and you should watch it for yourself. I'm not just going to do everything for you. I'm not your mom, but there are some things.
But why not, James? Why not? Why not be my mom? I'm great.
You should know before you go watching the series. This is kinda spoilery, but I won't spoil that much. So this alien planet is home to these creatures called Gelflings. They can share memories with each other by holding hands, and the girl Gelflings have wings. There's also this other creature called Agura, who's been around since the beginning of the world. She's basically Yoda's sassy grandma. And then out of nowhere, these tree aliens visit. Stay with me here, and they crack this very important crystal, and in doing so, they split into 2 different creatures. Their goodness becomes this thing called a mystic, who are dumb, and their bad side become these cool bird monsters called SkittenSays, and then the SkittenSays took over the entire world, so whoops. None of this is explained in the original movie, and it's not explained in the series until episode 7, but I think that the tree alien backstory should have started the series, which is why I just spoiled it for you. The original 90-minute film.
I mean, I feel like it's not a bad thing to want the origin story to be the first episode. Like, I understand, like, it's cliche and blah, 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 and not everything needs explanation right away. No, tell me what is going on. Tell me what's going on. We don't have to Harry Potter this fucking shit. Well, we don't find out until like fucking halfway through the book what the fuck is actually going on with Harry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like we have to wait till the full series goes on to find out what happened. Like, we don't, like, not everything has to do that. Give me some exposition at the beginning of the series just to start me off so I can just dip my toes in a little bit, and then you can give me like more exposition later, but at least start me off with something. Like, I understand that starting like in media res is like a thing, you know, but like it doesn't have to always be a thing, especially when there's like a lot of lore and there's a lot of background that the average viewer isn't going to be aware of. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to hide everything at the beginning. Like, just give us little snippets, little tidbits, you know?
Film already had so much lore, and this new Netflix reboot just added even more lore.
Yeah,
there's even a character named Lore. How much lore is there? Speaking of names, there are a lot of made-up words in this series, and sometimes those made-up words are hard to remember. Within the first minute of Age of Resistance, the narrator tells us that there are 7 clans of Gelfling, but then only names 3 because there are only 3 important ones that we should care about. I don't even know the names of the other 4 clans, and I'm like a dark crystal aficionado. Also, there are like 10 evil bird monsters, all with names like Skekso, Skeksil, Skektek, and Shrek. Granted, most of the time they go by their more common names like Chamberlain or the Emperor, but gosh dang it, I can't even remember some of those names. That's the pussy one, and that's the one that made that weird face in the original movie, and that's the one whose voice does not sound like a SkittenSays at all.
Now, what vexes you, child?
Another thing you should know is that I thought this series was pretty slow. Maybe it's because I'm impatient or I'm used to watching YouTube videos at 2 times speeds exclusively, but do you remember in the original movie how there was a scene where the SkittenSays ate dinner for 2 whole minutes, and visually it was amazing, but the whole time you're thinking,
when is this over?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
well,
they
there
ate
are
food
a lot of
gross.
scenes like that in the series. Let's take the beginning of episode 2, for example. It starts with a character we've never seen before waking up and putting on his shoes and making porridge and then spilling the porridge on his shirt, brushing his hair, then roughing it up, then grabbing his cleaning supplies. And it's just a whole minute
Jesus.
of this unnamed character getting ready for his day. It's just so boring. Just cut it, please. And it wouldn't be that bad if this was the only example, but trust me, there are plenty of examples. I just don't want to spoil any of them for you. Turning a 90-minute movie into a 9-hour TV series, you're going to have some filler or some scenes that don't necessarily drive the plot forward. I get that. Luckily, I found this Chrome plugin that lets you watch Netflix at 2 times speed, so
it's all good.
Making this video has got me thinking about prequels and how tricky they are to do right. In the original movie, there are only 2 Gelflings left in the entire world. So a prequel that sets up a world with 7 different Gelfling clans, we as an audience know that something's gonna happen and it ain't gonna look good for the Gelfling. The series also added this MacGuffin Halo sword looking thing that was supposed to save the world, but the whole time watching that I kept thinking, no, that's not how the world is saved. The world's not saved until 1982. Also, there are certain characters that we know can't die because they're in the original movie, but boy does this show make you think some OG characters are gonna die. It almost makes me wish that the writers used the 80s Dark Crystal movie as inspiration and rebooted this series in its own separate universe. Movie reviewers tend to focus a lot on the negatives, and I don't want to come off as a hater because I really did enjoy this series and I want a season 2 to get made, so let's end this video with some of the things I liked about this series. I like that we got to see the SkittenSays with more personality because they were always so over-the-top evil. The Hunter SkittenSays was just on a whole new level of cool. All the other SkittenSays never came across as threatening. Like look how slow they walk. I could beat them up. But the Hunter SkittenSays, oh man, he was awesome. Do you think he'll be my friend? I like that the series didn't tone down the darkness, and if anything, they amplified it. Because everyone like me should have a deep-seated fear of puppets. There are some great nods to the original Dark Crystal, like when the Emperor SkittenSay says, I will never be dust! But we all know that's the very first thing he does in the original movie. Celadon is a piece of garbage and does not deserve a redemption arc. The voice acting is amazing. There are a lot of talented people voicing these characters, like Luke Skywalker. A YouTuber named Barney Dixon, who made these very cool mantis finger puppets, got to work on a scene where the puppets put on a mini puppet show. And that was everything I liked about Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. So, in conclusion, if you have 9 hours of free time, download the Video Speed Controller plugin, set that bad boy to 2, and save yourself 4.5 hours. But do watch Age of Resistance. Also, executives, if you still need someone to play Rayunip, hello. Hey.
Good morning, everyone. If you're wondering if this...
So I really liked that review. I felt like it was super well-rounded. Okay, so I watched The Dark Crystal, right? Like when I was a kid, I watched it. And then I kept trying to tell my mom, I was like, Mom, there's this movie and there are these little, I think I said there were mouse people and vulture people. And I was like, and the vulture people are trying to kill the mouse people. And my mom was so confused. She had no clue. And I was literally talking about it for years. I was like, Mom, no. And then the one guy goes, and my mom was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, you weird ass child. And I found it one day. I was just like browsing through the movies. I think it was like in a Walmart or a Smith's or something. Like, you know, they have like those sections where they sell DVDs even though they don't really sell DVDs. And I found it. I was like, Mom, this is the movie. This is the movie. And my mom took one look at the movie and was like, nope. And she wouldn't buy it for me. So I literally have not seen The Dark Crystal in well over a decade and a half, I want to say. Like, it's been a minute. So I would love to watch Age of Resistance before rewatching The Dark Crystal. I think that would be really good because I don't really have a lot of hang-ups because I haven't watched The Dark Crystal in a minute. And then, so yeah. But anti-who's-in, let me know if you guys have any thoughts. No spoilers. No spoilers. If you post spoilers in my comments, I will block you and make it so you can't comment on my videos anymore. But let me know if you guys watched Age of Resistance. Let me know if you liked the series down below. Let me know what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like. Did you agree with James, Mr. Odd1sOut, or nah? That's it for this video. Peace out, ho biscuits. It's Skittenlit.